I am a Jedi, like my father before me.
Silly Jedi, silly Jedi.
Remember, the Force will be with you, always.
You must unlearn what you have learned.
Hello, what have we here?
Hello there.
At last! Where have you been?
Nice of you guys to drop by.
Ah, good. New acquisitions.
I don't know. I have a bad feeling about this.
Hey everybody, welcome to Star Wars Card Talk. I'm Maurice from Jedi Toy Masters, and if you're not following us on Instagram, you should, because hey, you know, if you like Star Wars and you like Star Wars toys and you like Star Wars content, and you love to see families be together because of Star Wars, then yeah, and Jedi Toy Masters might be the Instagram account for you. So check it out. We always posting. I usually tend to repost a lot of really cool stuff that I see on the gram, and also toy news and stuff like that. And then there's just like our Star Wars life as a family of 5 that we love Star Wars, and we love to post up there. So it's the place that we're the most active. And if you want to hit us up, you can DM us or tag us if you have something cool that you posted on Instagram that's Star Wars related. We'd love to see it. So yeah, Instagram, Jedi Toy Masters. And here on YouTube, if you're watching this on YouTube, you can check out some of our other videos. You can like and subscribe to this video just to kind of get the juices flowing. And also, like I said, check out some of our other videos, some of our previous Star Wars card talks that are up there in video form. And if you're listening to this in the podcast form, well, thank you so much as well, because I love doing this. I love being able to have this in different places so that you can watch or listen. And I know that if you give us a good review on the Apple Podcast or on Spotify, it really helps to get the show kind of like promoted via the algorithm, the all-powerful algorithm. But man, we're going to jump right to it. I know that, you know, Star Wars Celebration was a few weeks ago. That's in the rear view mirror. Even though there was so much cool stuff happening that weekend, I was able to watch most of it online, not in person. But it was really cool to watch, you know. They do the StarWars.com does all the great interviews on that big stage that they set up, and then they don't really live stream the actual panels, but you do get kind of like edited versions of those like after the fact. So that's fine, and that's pretty cool, because then that way, you know, it's easy to kind of like watch most of the live stream and then kind of catch up on all the other little things later on. And I really appreciate the fact that they do the live stream and that they cover everything that's happening all weekend at Celebration online, because it kind of, as a fan that can't be there in person, it's a nice treat, because you get to experience it to some degree in that way. I really hope to be able to go again, to be able to go, period. I know the one that I really wanted to go to was when they were in Orlando, which I think that might have been the last one before the big hiatus, was Orlando. And that's the one that I really wanted to go to, and that I probably could have gone to, but you know, it wasn't in the cards for me that year. So hopefully, you know, next year they're in London. And then who knows, after that, maybe they go back to Orlando. Hopefully, you know, that would be nice if they go back to Florida. I would love to do that, especially because at that point, my boys will be a little bit older, and maybe we can make it a family thing and we could all go. But Star Wars Celebration was really cool. A lot of really cool announcements. If you're listening to this now in the present, then you probably, and you're a Star Wars fan, you've heard of all this. You know, we got the trailer for Andor, and we got the trailer for the Bad Batch, which both are coming out this year in 2020. So we have the Bad Batch, I think, in September, and Andor later this summer. So that's like really cool. They also announced a season 2 of Visions, And they also announced, obviously, Ahsoka is in production, and that's going to be coming out next year. And there's another show called Skeleton Crew with Jude Law that also takes place during the Mandalorian post-Return of the Jedi time period, which I'm fine with. I think if they're like basing most of this content on that time period, I'm happy. I think the in between episode 3 and 4 and after episode 6, those 2 time periods I think are a gold mine when it comes to creating content. If there was another era that I wish that they would create content for, is I would love to see well, I know it's tough, but I think I would love to see an animated movie or an animated series, like maybe a limited series, based on whatever the adventures that took place in between Episode 4, A New Hope, and Episode 5, The Empire Strikes Back. Like, I would love to see that. Like what happened leading up to The Empire Strikes Back. And I'm sure, and I know that there's comics that have kind of like covered a lot of that stuff, but I really would love to see that. I also would really love it if they if they made Shadows of the Empire canon, or if they recanonized it and kind of tweaked the story, but like recreated Shadows of the Empire, which is the story that takes place in between Empire Strikes Back and Return of the Jedi. I would love that in like an animated form. I mean, you can literally, the same technology that they've been using to do the Luke's voice in The Mandalorian and Book of Boba Fett. I mean, can you imagine if they're able to get the permission from the right people and even like get permission from the Carrie Fisher's estate, and be able to do an animated movie or an animated show of that story and use those voice talents via that re-speecher technology. Like, how cool would that be? I think that would be really, really fun. And then obviously it would be cool if they went back to like pre The Phantom Menace and kind of gave us some stories in that time period, kind of like not Old Republic and not High Republic, but just kind of like what the Jedi, kind of like a pre-Phantom Menace, which we kind of are getting in Tales of the Jedi. That's an animated show that also was teased at Celebration, which looks really cool. It's kind of a lot of these stories that take place before the movies. Let's see. I think that was about it. I mean, a lot of great interviews. We got Mando season 3 coming out next year. It's gearing up to be really cool. The Ahsoka show introduced us to the actress that'll be playing Sabine, which I was like, wow, like talk about really great casting. I mean, I've not seen this actress in anything else, but just looking at her, and even her kind of her swagger during that interview at Star Wars Celebration, I'm like, man, this is a really good pick for Sabine. She looks exactly like Sabine, like a live action Sabine, which is amazing. She's got like the physical, look of Sabine, and man, I'm really pumped for Ahsoka. They had Chopper on stage with Rosario Dawson, coming out to promote the show and stuff, and that was really cool. And it's basically, we're getting Star Wars Rebels sequel show, which is the Ahsoka show, and I think that's amazing. I think that's like, wow, that's going to be really, really cool. And obviously we're going to get Admiral Thrawn, we're going to get Ezra, so I'm super pumped for that. And there was a lot of Celebration convention exclusives that Hasbro kind of like promoted and kind of teased throughout the weekend. We got some Black Series figures, we got some vintage collection, and a lot of really cool figures. I gotta say, I'll be the first to admit, like, a good selection of good, figures. You got Obi-Wan from the Obi-Wan show. You got a new Darth Vader, which I totally want to get that figure. The new Black Series Vader looks amazing. You have the Reva, the Inquisitor, in all kinds of. You got her in retro and vintage collection in Black Series. You have so many really cool characters that were announced. My problem is just the problem that I've had forever, which is that, like, why do they announce these figures, but it's like, okay, but we have to pre-order them and wait almost a year to get them. Like, that's what I just don't understand. Like, you have the Obi-Wan show coming out, and it's airing right now, and we're on episode 4 already, and like, why wouldn't you already have these figures in the store and available for order? Like, do you not think people are going to want them? Like, that's just it. They're Hasbro and toy companies in general, man. They're just like, they're just playing it safe, and they're hiding behind this. Oh yes, you get to pre-order these figures. They're so cool, and look, and they do these little presentations showing us like how much hard work went into designing these figures, and I appreciate that. Okay, that's cool. Yes, you're putting a lot of effort into making the figures really look really good and the quality and all that. But you know what? They've jacked up the prices already. You know, they're already like $2 and $3 more than they were a year or two ago. And just this pre-order model is just so annoying. Like, pre-ordering. Like, I'm sorry. Maybe it's just me. I grew up, I'm a child of the 80s. I just remember going to Toys R Us, and the toys were on the shelves. The toys were on the pegs, and they were there. Like, there was no like, hey, we got the Sergeant Slaughter action figure coming out for the G.I. Joe line. Look at this. It's so cool. And you can pre-order it tomorrow and get it in 3-4 months. Like, no. You know what pre-orders were when I was a kid? It was, buying a bunch of G.I. Joe cereal and saving the proof of purchase, and then having to mail it in, and then getting that figure, that special figure from the cereal, like getting it like 4 or 5 weeks later. That was pre-order as a kid. Pre-order was begging your parents all week to take you to Toys R Us, and then finally, like on the Saturday or Sunday, getting to go, and then being like, here, this is the figure that I've been telling you I've been wanting to come to Toys R Us to get. That was a pre-order. Just waiting and then going to the store, and then it's there and you get it. Like, this nonsense nowadays is just ridiculous. I don't think I'll ever be on board for this pre-order stuff. I'm not saying that I'll never pre-order something. Obviously, yes. If I really want something, I'll pre-order it. I have in the past, and I'll continue to do so for things that I really, really want, and that I know I'm either gonna A, have a really hard time finding it in stores myself, or B, I just don't want to have to deal with it, and I'll just pre-order it. Like this, some things you're just like, whatever, I'll just wait and get it when it comes out. I did that with the Ahsoka and the Darth Maul vintage collection figures that came out from the season 7 of the Clone Wars. Like, those two figures are really cool. I pre-ordered them at Walmart, and I literally got them. I got them like months apart, which is kind of ridiculous. And after they had already been released, like after the release date, I got them like way after. I got one in the mail, and then like a month later, I got the other one in the mail or something like that. I mean, it's just ridiculous. So anyway, Hasbro, good job on the announcements, on the figures that you got down the pipe, and the ones that you have that are coming. Like, I appreciate that, but can we just get more figures at the stores? And can we get like figures out there sooner rather than later? But anywho, that was really cool. So anyway, that's as far as Star Wars Celebration. I know everybody's so many great podcasts and YouTubers. I've already covered a lot of that stuff. What was your favorite aspect of Star Wars Celebration? Were you there? Did you watch online like I did? And what was what were your highlights of it? I know for me, I love the Jon Favreau, Dave Filoni interview. I just love seeing these two guys, like their interaction and for those of you watching, I'm like literally holding the camera because I don't have it secured on my dashboard, and it could just slide right off because I'm hitting a curve right now on the road. I am on the road. That's why it's Star Wars Car Talk. But yeah, Dave Filoni and Jon Favreau, like, man, their chemistry and their dynamic like seems so genuine and real and so awesome. And it's just like watching two buddies that get to play with Star Wars like all the time. Like that's just really cool. And the other highlight obviously was seeing Hayden Christensen and Ewan McGregor come out and do their interview and talk. And of course, you know, Hayden Christensen, you know, it's been memed so many times, but Hayden Christensen got on the mic at the end and gave that classic line, "This is where the fun begins." So that was really cool. And then they actually did a panel, Clone Wars panel. They popped in at the end, and Ashley Eckstein, Ahsoka, was moderating or hosting that panel, and they came out, and it was really cool just seeing Ahsoka, like the real Ahsoka and the real Anakin, like sitting next to each other and meeting for the first time, basically. I think that was really, really cool. One thing that I feel is not cool, that sticks out to me like a sore thumb from Star Wars Celebration. They interviewed Ashley Eckstein, Ahsoka, and they asked her like, hey, like, how has it been? What has it been like, you know, seeing a live action Ahsoka, and like, did you give any advice to Rosario Dawson? And Ashley, you know, she is so like, you know, bless her heart, you know what I mean? Like, she's so like just good-hearted and kind. And the way she answered was perfectly polite and nice, but she was basically like, actually, I've never met Rosario Dawson. I've never communicated with her. I've never spoken to her. I've never seen her. I would love to. I would love to meet her, and I would love to be in the Ahsoka show. Not as Ahsoka, obviously. I don't think she meant that. But like, she's like, hey, like, you know, a lot of other people get cameos in these shows. Like, I would love a cameo. So, I mean, like, to me, the Ahsoka show is in production. We already saw Rosario Dawson as Ahsoka on The Mandalorian Season 2. And we saw her in the Book of Boba Fett. Like, the fact that they haven't, that at this point they haven't had Ashley come in and like meet Rosario Dawson, or that like, hey, Rosario Dawson hasn't like reached out to Ashley, like whether on social media or like just in private, and been like, hey, I would love to have lunch, grab lunch with you or whatever. I'd love to talk to you about the character. Like, what the heck is up with that? You know, like, Dave Filoni is heavily involved in these shows, and Dave Filoni created the character of Ahsoka. Like, George Lucas kind of gave the order for the creation of the character of Ahsoka, but Dave Filoni actually created the character of Ahsoka, and like, it's literally, I mean, it's to the point where it's based on, I think it's based on his wife or something. Like, if I'm not mistaken, but like, the fact that like not even Dave, who's involved with the shooting of these shows and is involved with the Ahsoka series, like hasn't been like, all right, day one, before we even start shooting Ahsoka, I gotta have Rosario Dawson and Ashley meet and sit down and talk. Maybe let's do a little photo op, like, you know, to kind of get people even more pumped for the show. Like, that doesn't make any sense to me. It almost feels disrespectful, because you know what? They're using Luke Skywalker in Mando and in Book of Boba Fett. We see, we see Luke Skywalker, and they, even though they're using a body double and a voice double, like a software to do the voice, they still bring in Mark Hamill to basically play him. Why wouldn't you give Ashley Eckstein, offer her the same courtesy of at least asking her to be on set, to at least, even if it's just to kind of say like, does this feel like Ahsoka? The way she said this, does this feel like Ahsoka? Like, I know that Dave Filoni is the one that created the character, but Ashley Eckstein is the one that breathed life into that character. Like, her voice, her character, her personality bleeds through. And I mean, I don't want to sound like a Ahsoka Ashley Eckstein fanboy here, because to be honest, I always found the character of Ahsoka annoying throughout the Clone Wars. And in fact, I didn't give the Clone Wars a fair chance when it originally aired because of the character of Ahsoka. Like, after I saw, like, oh, this Ahsoka character is gonna be a major part of this show, like, what is up with this? Like, what is this? Like, this is annoying. Like, I found her annoying. I thought she was unnecessary. I wanted to see the Clone Wars and see Anakin and Obi Wan in action. I didn't care about all these other stories that they were throwing at us with Ahsoka and the clones. Like, you know, I wanted it to be the Clone Wars, Anakin and Obi Wan, you know, and then maybe some other Jedi adventures or whatever. But she really grew on me, and season 7 basically actually seeing her in Star Wars Rebels and then going back and seeing her in season 7 of the Clone Wars, that was like that was it for me. I became a fan. You know, the character really grew on me, and it's basically, I think, has become one of the most important characters in Star Wars, like next to Luke Skywalker. So the fact that you just don't include Ashley in any of this just seems so wrong. And I don't know. I would have to like do a search on Twitter and Instagram and stuff to see if like people are pointing this out. If there's other fans that are pointing this out. But like, why aren't we making a bigger stink about this? Like, that's not cool, man. I just feel like that's not cool. Unless, you know, and I'll give them the benefit of the doubt, unless the reason for that is because they're saving it for something else, or maybe she was being very, you know, maybe this misdirecting in the interview, and maybe she has already, you know, maybe Dave has been waiting for now the production of the Ahsoka series to be full, you know, going on, and after Celebration to have Ashley come in and meet her, and maybe there is a part for her in the show. But maybe it's also in direct response to that interview and the fact that she said it. She basically called them out and said, no, I've never met Rosario Dawson. I've never spoken to her. I would love to, and I would love to be in the show. Anyway, I don't know. I just feel like that's really kind of not fair and kind of uncool. But speaking of shows and Star Wars, because that's what you're here, right? That's why I'm here. Episode 4 of the Obi Wan series of Obi Wan Kenobi dropped as the time of recording this. It was last night. I watched it, and man, I'm gonna be honest with you. I haven't really had, I think, enough time to fully process this series so far. I mean, we have 2 episodes left. This is a very short series. And the way I'm feeling right now, you know, just get it out of the way, spoiler alert, if you haven't watched Obi-Wan episode 1, 2, 3, and 4, then please, you know, pause this, go watch them, and then come back, because I'm going to get spoilery, and I'm going to give my honest opinion. But right off the bat, I got to say, the way I'm feeling right now about this series, I kind of wish this was a movie instead of a show. And the reason I say that is I just feel like, you know how sometimes, sometimes the argument is, man, this was a great movie. Oh, perfect example, Solo. Solo, a Star Wars story, I think would have been better as a show, as a series. I think you would have been able to tell a greater story, an overall greater story, and have little adventures in each episode. Like, I think the Solo show should have been treated, Solo as a show could have been treated kind of like a young Indiana Jones series, where, I mean, you're not going to go back and forth with his age, but where maybe like the first 2 episodes would have been like him meeting Chewie and him kind of getting like, you know, getting mixed into this like smuggler life or whatever, and kind of like the misadventures of him kind of, you know, getting, you know, becoming part of that. And then the grander story is like him and I forgot this girl's name already. Amelia Clark. And, him and her, and like, will they ever see each other again? And, you know, and then maybe even have like that presence of like, have Darth Maul be kind of like the presence behind the scenes of everything, because it's kind of like the underworld, and it's like all these gangs, and it's that kind of thing. I think that could have been way better. You know, it could have been explored in a better way if it was a show. Even if it was like a 6 or 8 episode series, limited series, like I think that they probably should have waited until Disney Plus was on, you know, and done it as a show. Obi-Wan, however, I feel like you're getting the opposite. Like I feel like, whereas sometimes you say for a movie, oh man, we didn't have enough time to really explore. Like if this was a show, then you have more time to really explore everything. For this Obi-Wan series, it seems like this is a pretty straightforward, simple story that's being stretched out to cover 6 episodes. Like, I think they reversed engineered a show from the concept of a movie, and I feel like it's not fully working. Like, first of all, the first 2 episodes, which they were smart to release them back to back, because not a lot of stuff happens in those first 2 episodes. Like, you know, you do get some stuff, but it's like you needed those 2 episodes to be back to back like that, because the first episode by itself would have been like, oh, okay. Like, I don't think it would have gotten everybody really excited to continue watching. I mean, obviously, if you're a fan, you're going to continue watching because you want to see this thing through, and you want to see what happens. I mean, you're already paying for a Disney Plus subscription. You might as well watch it, right? But I just feel like the way the story is developing and kind of the way that each episode is unfolding, it like, I don't know, like it's giving the illusion that this show is taking place over a long period of time when it's not. I mean, when you think about it, this show is basically taking place over the course of like a few days so far. If it was a movie, then it would be easier to buy the idea that Leia met Ben when she was 10 and went on this crazy experience, this crazy misadventure or whatever. And then that's it, like moved on with her life, and maybe she was inspired by this adventure to pursue leadership and pursue change and wanting to be the change. And that makes perfect sense, right? But by seeing this relationship develop over the course of a show, it gives the impression that her relationship to Kenobi is a lot deeper and has deeper roots than it really should. So, I don't know. And then we got 2 episodes left, and we barely have seen Hayden Christensen as Anakin. Like we've seen like literally like 10 seconds of screen time of him in that bathtub tank thing, and you see that it's him under all this makeup or whatever. And, you know, like we are led to believe that that's Hayden Christensen under the suit performing, but it doesn't really have to be. You know what I mean? Like it's. I mean, it doesn't really have to be, and I'm sure there's a stunt double for a lot of the stuff too. So I don't know. I feel like I think they might have overhyped this show, and what we're really getting is a 2-hour movie stretched into 6 hours. And it honestly, it kind of hurts. It pains me to really kind of like acknowledge that this show might not be that great. I mean, it's good, but I don't think it's great so far. I mean, granted, these last 2 episodes might really kind of like blow my mind, you know? And episode 4, which I'll get into right now, was, I think, really good. It was very reminiscent of like Star Wars Rebels, you know, when they have to like infiltrate a base or something. It was very reminiscent of like Mandalorian. And it was very reminiscent of like Alec Guinness in A New Hope, kind of sneaking around the Death Star. I thought that was really cool. And it was really cool seeing, you know, Obi-Wan, you know, kind of fully embrace his powers. And oh man, it was really cool seeing Obi-Wan doing a lot of his lightsaber moves, blocking blaster bolts the way that he did in the prequels. And you saw like his movements and everything. Like it's there. Like, you know, that was really cool. Like I enjoyed the episode. But man, I don't know. And the other thing, here's the other thing that I hate to bring up because I know it's kind of controversial or whatnot. I have nothing against the actress Moses Ingram who's playing Reva, the Inquisitor Reva. I have nothing against her. I have nothing really against the character itself because the concept of that character is interesting because she's an Inquisitor, and I can see why somebody like Vader / Anakin would be intrigued by her because she's also somebody that's jaded and is angry at the Jedi. You know, so he kind of can connect with that. And she's like the most human of all these Inquisitors. You know what I mean? So she's probably the one that he kind of you know, maybe he has if it's possible for Vader to have a soft spot. She's probably the one. She's somebody that he maybe has a soft spot for, but that's why he's like also the roughest with her. You know, the toughest with her. So I understand that, and I get that, and it's interesting because you don't have to be a genius to figure out that this show is going to end with Reva turning, you know, realizing, you know, what this is all about, why Vader wants Obi-Wan gone, and what Obi-Wan is why Obi-Wan is still around. Like, what is he trying to preserve? And I think that's going to change her heart. Like, she's going to have a change of heart, and she's going to die sacrificially to protect Obi-Wan and protect Luke and Leia. You know, like that. That's the way. That's the show. That's basically Reva is basically like the characters of Rogue One, who are the reason we have a chance to blow up the Death Star, but they all perished. So they are immortalized in Rogue One as the ones responsible for Leia getting the transmission, getting the plans to the Death Star and giving them to R2, and then R2 giving them to Luke, and then Luke having to get help to bring them back to the Rebels. Like, that whole adventure is because of the characters of Rogue One, who are these martyrs. Like, they died. They're dead. They didn't make it. And I think Reva is like that version of this. Like, Reva is going to be the reason why Obi-Wan was able to stay hidden for the next 10 years. And she's the reason why Vader will think and will believe that Obi-Wan is gone and that there's nothing on Tatooine, and he's never going to bother to check over there, and he's not going to ever sense that Leia or Luke are his kids or anything like that. It's going to be because of Reva. I don't know how I feel about that, to be quite honest. My problem with the character of Reva is that the character, like, I really don't like the way has been written, and I don't know if it's a combination of the way that she's written and then the way they are allowed Moses Ingram to portray that, you know, because it just seems like she's very, I don't know, there's just something about her performance, something about like I don't know if it's the performance, but just the swagger that the character has, and the way and like what she, like, it just seems like she's, as much as they try to make it so that, like, yes, like she, you know, oh, Obi-Wan got away again or whatever, like she failed, like, so she is failing, she isn't perfect, but in every other aspect she's like always right on the money, you know what I mean? Like she's like the smartest person in the room, it's just that nobody's giving her a chance, and like, but in the end, she, you know, like, Vader's mad at her, Vader's about to choke her out and like kill her, And then she's just like, oh, I put a tracking device like on the ship. Like we're gonna find her. This is not for nothing. Like I still have, my plan is still working or whatever. And it's like, oh, okay, Vader. Vader's like, okay, well, it's like, I don't know. It's just like that. That's just not working for me. Like I don't know why. It's just like, I just find it kind of annoying. I just find it kind of annoying. I'm trying to think of like another character, whether in Star Wars or in something else, that has had that same effect on me, where I'm just like, this is like, what is the purpose of this? And I can't really think of anything off the top of my head, but like, I don't know. I don't know what to think, but Obi Wan goes to the Inquisitor fortress to save Leia, and I thought that whole little story was really cool. It was very Rogue One-ish, but yeah, I'm not sure. I'm kind of speechless. I really don't know what to think. I think this Obi-Wan show so far is good. Like, I don't think it's garbage. I don't think it's trash. I think it's way better than the Book of Boba Fett. I think there's a lot of aspects to it that are way better than the Book of Boba Fett in the storytelling. And you know what? Maybe it's lacking a little bit of that Star Wars silliness. Like, I think the most silly thing we got was episode 3. We got that character, that gopher guy, that like gave him a ride on that like space pickup truck bus or whatever, and he was like, "Hey, everybody, guys, I'll take you. Come on, hop on." Like I thought that was okay. We got a little goofiness there. That's a little Star Wars goofiness. But then like in the second episode, we had that dude, I forget his name, and he was like playing like that fake Jedi who was like scamming people, but really helping people, but doing it for money. And that character, that didn't work for me. I mean, he kind of redeemed himself at the end, like that last scene where he's actually like playing it straight. But up until that point, it was just kind of like, this is annoying. This is not, I don't know about this guy. But maybe that's the point. Maybe he was supposed to be annoying, and then maybe that's the point. Maybe Reva is supposed to be. We're supposed to find her annoying, and then, but at least, I mean, this is the 4th episode, so they needed to already establish that she's somebody that can be redeemed, and I think that's probably, thinking out loud, I think that might be the thing that is bothering me, that I think they haven't, over the course of these last 4 episodes, they haven't really established that she's a character that can be redeemed. I mean, the only thing we really got in this 4th episode was when she's interrogating Leia, and she gives a little bit of backstory about herself. Like, she used to have a droid, and it was taken away from her, and and so you can tell that she's hurt. That deep down, she's just like she's a hurt, angry little girl, basically, deep down. But I feel like that's not enough. Like, we need to have gotten already more backstory. And it's been 2 episodes now since the Inquisitor was like stabbed in the gut, the Grand Inquisitor. And where the heck is he now? Like, what the heck? He was in, like, what? What? Like, where is he? Like, Obi-Wan was immediately put in a bathtub tank and half healed from the horrific burns that he got. Where the heck is this Grand Inquisitor? Why isn't he back? Why isn't he better? I don't know. And again, that's because this show is almost taking place in real time. Like, every episode is just continuing the story in a way that is really taking place over the course of 3 days. So I don't know, guys. What do you think? I mean, I'm not saying that it's bad. I'm just saying it's not. I don't feel like it's great. Like, it's great to see Ewan McGregor as Obi-Wan. It's great to see Darth Vader in a very Anakin-like, kind of, he's very Anakin-like still. Like this angry Anakin Vader. I kind of dig it. this, the Leia element of the story is nice, because at least you have him actually interact with her, so there is that little history, and she knows who Ben Kenobi is, even though in A New Hope it kind of made it seem like she didn't really know who Ben Kenobi was. She just knew that he was important and that her dad told her to get him. But I think the little actress, the young lady that is playing young Leia, I think that's really good. I really enjoyed it. I love seeing Alderaan and seeing Bail Organa and Jimmy Smits and all that. But I really want to like this show, but I just feel like, man, 2 episodes left, like, and maybe I would give it more slack, cut it more slack if I knew for sure that there was going to be a season 2, but there may not be a season 2. This might be it, and I don't know, man. They need to wrap these last 2 episodes up really well, like. And first of all, this 4th episode was only like 38 minutes long. Like, what is up with that, man? If you're going to do 6 episodes, then you know what? Every episode should be an hour. And it's really not 38 minutes, because you have like almost like a 2-minute recap plus like opening. And then you have like a 5-minute credits at the end. So this is really like almost a 30-minute show. Like 32 minutes. Every episode should have been an hour, and I don't know. So these episode 5 and 6, these last 2 episodes need to be an hour long, at least. And the final episode 6, hey, I make it like an hour and a half. I'm just saying, make up for all these short episodes that you've been putting out, because I don't know. Oh, yeah. I guys, I don't want to sound like I'm pooping on the show, because I really love Obi-Wan, and I think I've been waiting so long. I mean, I was really pumped when they said that there was going to be an Obi-Wan Star Wars story, like as a movie. Like I kind of feel like they should have stayed with that. I think a theatrical Obi-Wan movie with Ewan McGregor, I think would have, and Hayden Christensen coming back, like I think that would have been a great movie to have seen, on the big screen. But they decided to do this TV show format, and and even though it's on a TV show format, I mean, I gotta say, like, the special effects, the visuals, everything looks cinematic, but I feel like there's something missing. Like there's like a few ingredients missing that is just throwing the flavor off of this show. And one of them is, I think that this should have been a movie. Another, I think, is where the character of Reva, there's just something off about that character, the way it was written, or the way it's being done or executed. I don't know. Another ingredient, I think, is just they're stretching the story. Like, they're stretching the story. They're stretching it, and you could have had more episodes. It should have been. It probably should be 8 episodes. We'll see. We'll see what happens after the last one in 2 weeks. But guys, what did you think? Let me know in the comments below. Hit me up on Instagram and let me know. DM me on Instagram at Jedi Toy Masters. Let's start a conversation in the comments, everybody, and let's figure this thing out. I'm not going to hate on any of the actors. I'm not hating on the actress Moses Ingram playing Reva. Regardless of who she is, I mean, it could have been anybody in that role. But if the character is not written right, and you're not maybe given like the proper direction for that character, I don't know. Maybe it's Deborah Chow's vision for this character that is off. I don't know. Maybe there's other voices on set that are saying, no, she should be like this and she should do this. I don't know. All I know is there's just something off, and I can't put my finger on it precisely. I just know the few things that I know that I just mentioned that I think are off. But let me know, what do you think is off? And but let's also be respectful, because you know what? At the end of the day, man, it's Star Wars, you know, and we're getting some really cool visuals and really cool storytelling in this like TV format, like, you know, and Vader, man, we got Vader. Oh, so cool. And Obi-Wan, you know, he's looking more and more like Alec Guinness in this episode, I gotta say. Like his, you know, he got like this upgrade in he changed his robe out, which, oh yeah, great. Like the last 3 episodes now, he looks totally different, and they already announced a figure of him looking like how he looked in the first three episodes, and now he looks totally different. So he's gonna end the show looking more like Alec Guinness, Obi-Wan, and oh boy. Anyway, guys, thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. Let me know what you think. But remember,
The Force will be with you, always.